Robbie, what's up, man? Do you know that people are going crazy for silver right now? They're paying like $10 above the actual market price.
Dude, it's wild. There's a lot of people overpaying in China and Dubai right now.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
it's absolutely crazy. Well, welcome back everybody to another episode of the Coast to Coast Traders podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Robbie.
What's up, man? How was your Christmas?
It was good. I'm blessed. I'm can't ask for more really, but how about yourself?
Same, dude. Same. To quote the wife, we are too blessed to be stressed, you know?
That's a great way to put it. But you know who's not going to be stressed is our winner that we're announcing today
Hell
for the
yeah.
trade day giveaway.
That's right.
Thanks again, everybody, for the 500 subs
That's right. We got a lot of
and all the
comments.
views along the way.
Yeah, we got a lot of entries, a lot of comments, a lot of likes. We appreciate you all. So we're happy to turn on the infinite money glitch for somebody. So we'll be announcing that winner shortly.
Yeah, sounds good. So why don't we start this off with some silver rumblings?
Dude, yeah, it's just pretty wild. Silver is basically going vertical, a la the 80s style.
Yeah.
Um, it's going crazy. And you were just saying that people are paying above the spot price, right? So,
Yeah. So I mean, I was thinking, I think it was last week that I was thinking, okay, 60 to 70 by this week, and it didn't quite happen, or maybe it was last episode. I think is when I was thinking that.
yep.
So it didn't quite happen. We were just a couple of dollars shy, but it definitely happened this past week, or you know, between the 22nd and 26th, and then it blew right past that.
Hmm.
It like I think it jumped up to like 74 um really fast overnight, and then it's just been like continually running away, and we're seeing posts on X about, of course, FOMO and different surge prices and things like that.
Hmm.
uh China was showing even $80 in price for silver, and then I saw some reports of even people in Dubai paying $90 an ounce.
Yeah,
And it's just
it's pretty
it's
wild, dude.
nuts.
I wish I was logged in right now. I can try to log in real quick to show the chart, but it looks like it spiked at $82 and then it fell all the way to like 75 and change. Just now, like
Yeah.
the silver futures tonight, before we started recording. So pretty wild price action.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. So I wonder, because on Thanksgiving we saw that reporting there was a whole CME outage and the silver conspiracy that we talked about,
mhm.
and those people are probably like, oh yeah, of course we were right. We were pounding the drum, this and that, and
Mhm.
of course that's just one part of the equation that can lead to this. I don't, sometimes I believe in conspiracy theories, but in this particular one, although I think there maybe like some validity to it, but
Yeah,
I don't think it's
there's
fully responsible for like what's actually going on.
nah, something was or something is going on, and of course, the big players are all behind the scenes going to try to position themselves well enough to not have this thing just be a total blowout, right? They're not trying to have silver turn into the next GME, but definitely. Where'd you go, Robbie?
I think I
There we
wonder
go.
what's the ceiling though? Like, are we gonna hit 100, 120, and then before we get any like stability, like reset? Like, do you think we're gonna have like a break and base setup where it comes back down to something reasonable, or is it just gonna flash crash like it has, in the past? I would like to
Um,
say break and base
yeah, I
somewhere above 50s, and then like maybe resettle around 60s or something.
I think we just got to go to the chart, bro. I logged in so we can go to this chart. So,
All right.
uh, here we are. This is just what happened after the open tonight, right? So we gapped up just slightly, opening up just about 80, ran to
Hmm.
82, flushed down here to 75 and a half, and yeah,
So this is the first really big pullback that we've seen. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. I don't have any. I should have bought some back on our when I was talking about this in like what, May or June, when I did that solo episode,
I think so,
and
dude.
I was talking about, oh, silver's on a week. It's about to break out on a weekly.
Mhm.
And yeah, it sure was, pal.
It sure did, dude. I know, it's like the biggest woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? But we'll
Yeah, of
see.
course.
This is crazy. There was a big volume there in that last push, on Friday, and now it looks
Hmm.
like maybe we might have some capitulation here. So everybody and their brother is talking about it, though. So, like, if anybody's trying to buy it,
Oh
I
yeah.
feel bad because it's like, well, when mainstream people are just about to buy everything, it's usually a bad sign. But gold did kind of the same thing. Remember, gold went up, came down. It looked like, oh, that's the top, and then it's just gone, a little bit sideways and curled back upwards, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
don't mind all those drawings. I have no idea what they are.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean
People
that's
were even saying how silver is now number three in worldwide market cap. Gold is number one, Nvidia is number two, and then silver three, then Apple following.
wow. Hey.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when, not to beat a dead horse here, right, with silver guys, but I remember when we did this episode, we were talking about, man, maybe this is the top, like maybe this is it, and it was, right? Like it came down, but then it failed to break lower, right? Like it had this strong bullish move here, came back down, they retested those same lows, and that was it. Like got bought right back up, and that was it. Came back, pulled back again, settled on top of these highs, and just launched, right? And so
Yeah,
from
textbook EMA setup.
yeah, exactly. And from
Mhm.
there, you have over a 10 from here from this EMA reclaim area, you have over no, it's really 12% gain. That's a good. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good gain. Most
That's
people, if they got 12% in the market in a year, they're like, "Wow, this is awesome," and that gave it to you in a month. So
oh, yeah, for sure.
pretty great, pretty
Yeah,
great.
the FOMO is probably pretty real.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. So
Mhm.
silver, we'll keep an eye on her. Gold too. Um,
Yep, of course.
let's close the loop a little bit. We got some information about funding ticks.
Yeah,
Um,
you got an email, I didn't.
Yeah, it's really funny that I got this email too, because that's the first thing. I opened this email and I skimmed it and I was
Mhm.
like, I wonder if Robbie got this, right? So that was my first message was to you. I was like, did you get this, right? And you said no. And I have
Yeah.
no idea why I got it because I've never had an account with them ever. And the email is literally addressed to me, Dear Joe. Um,
Yeah, that's funny.
so we saw some posts online from their CEO and he was like really I don't know. I felt like he sounded really scammy, right? Like he was trying to
Mm,
put out a vote on like, should we reinstate half the profits, but then go to a 2 minute minimum time to hold? Like, bro, 2 minutes now?
right. Oh my gosh.
Like, what part of the
No way.
feedback? What part of the feedback
Uh-huh.
around 1 minute did you not understand?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it felt very, like, out of touch with the customer base and what the whole community is asking for,
hmm
and, so he's finally come around. One thing in the email, he did mention something, if I read it correctly, was that there won't be any more retroactive rule changes going forward. And I mean, I want to say bravo, but like, you've
hmm
already broken that trust once.
Yep.
And a lot of other companies have much better policies right now. Certainly, I don't know of anyone that has a 1 minute rule. Do you?
No, I know that there's a few of them that have they have a rule around like no more than half of your profits can come from like these high frequency sort of trades where they're like super fast scalps, right? Like only lasting a few
Right.
seconds. Um, and I've never had to deal with that
Yeah.
personally because
And
that's not
that's
how I trade.
truly high frequency trading. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever heard of high frequency trading being more than a few seconds.
right.
Of course, I don't know much, but that's what I've heard in the past anyway.
So they did say that, right? So Um, then not only will there be no retroactive updates in the future, the user experience revamp updates, they have direct progression from past evals to sim funded accounts. So sounds like something that like Lucid does, where like you just once you pass, you just go on and then you just click like activate, kind of Tradeify does the same thing to you, you click activate, right? Um Pro Plus revamp updates increase drawdown across all Plus accounts, right? So the evaluation stage, the consistency is adjusted to 50% instead of 40%. That allows you to pass in 2 days instead of three. They
That's
haven't.
nice.
That is nice. That's a nice change. I think it keeps them in line with a lot of other firms.
Mhm.
You know, they went on to say, though, most importantly, that all high frequency trading related profits that were deducted from December 16th and prior to will be fully
Yeah.
reinstated for anybody who was affected.
Mhm.
But from the 17th onward, which was when they rolled out that rule, any profits generated from trades under 1 minute will not be counted. So they basically
Right.
removed that retroactive part of it, which was like that's the right thing to do because going
Mhm.
retroactive on that rule was really scammy. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like my confidence is definitely shaken in signing up with this firm personally.
Yeah. I think they needed to allow anybody who still had an account under the old terms
Hmm.
trade as the terms were when they first signed up for those accounts. That's really what they needed to have done.
Hmm.
And so their current move, it's like they're kind of having their cake. Like they're capitulating a little bit, but they're still getting mostly what they want out of this deal.
For sure. I mean, because it's really just about what does the future look like for them as a firm, and
Mhm.
so what I draw from it is, hey, if I'm trading with them, that's another thing, right, that I have to worry about. If we roll
Yeah.
back the hands of time here, there was once, a lot of issues with Apex and their rules and and how they kind of rolled out some more rules. And like the rule, and now when you look at it, the rules that Apex rolled out, specifically the drawdown rule, the maximum adverse excursion. You can't be in a trade
Hmm.
and allow it to draw against you more than 30% of your account's total balance. Like
Yeah.
from a risk control standpoint, that rule does make sense, right? Like, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
you don't want to be a Tory Trades and have a $600,000 account and be in the hole 300 grand on a trade. Like that's not smart, right?
Right.
So
Hmm.
why would you do the same thing with the 20? It's just like if you have a 50K, you essentially only have a $2,500 account. So
Hmm.
that was a very simple rule change. Like it sucked when they rolled it out, but you can see it makes sense. Like this doesn't this like it sound like if you have an issue with certain users, you should just kick them out. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. This really just screams that they didn't like that certain people were successful trading, maybe in what people would call scalpy or what they're trying to call high time frame trading.
Hmm.
But it's just like, okay, all right, yeah, ban them, give them their payouts, and ban them if that's what you want to do, and then change the rules after they're out. But I mean, I don't think anybody would agree that what they did was reasonable, even though there was a lot of people on X kind of like giving them the benefit of the doubt, like
Yeah.
well beyond when they should have, similar to how people were still championing or bring the drums for Top Step, and how great they were despite the many flaws that they've encountered for the past 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Those people are wild fanboys for Top Step for that. Wild.
Hmm. Yeah.
S- So, all right. Well, we'll keep an eye on Funny Takes, right? We'll see what happens with them too. We'll keep them kind of in the back pocket like silver and gold. You know,
Yep.
hopefully they get their act together.
Yeah.
So now is the moment we've all been waiting for, right? You want to
Yep.
give us a little
We got this
countdown?
lucky winner. All right. So we got a countdown for the trade day giveaway.
Hmm.
One lucky winner. Five, four, three, two, one. And it's Rail Rich one. So
Congratulations.
yeah, so I don't know. We'll have to figure out how to message you specifically. Because I don't know how to interact with people on YouTube. I think in the past, like you used to be able to see somebody's profile and check an
Yeah.
email address, but we will reach out to you in DMs and get that emailed to you or something, that code emailed to you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Just get a hold of us. Have your
And
people
what's
call my
his
people.
resolution for the? Yeah, yeah. And his resolution here, he wants 80% green trades for 2026. What do you think about that?
I think that's. I don't think that's
Your
the
lots
goal.
of words, buddy.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to articulate it. I don't think that's a goal
Uh
I would
huh.
personally set for myself. I feel like that's too driven, too outcome focused personally.
Hmm.
and it could be really hard to actually achieve that, right? Like, and if you come in at 79%, are you going to say that you failed in 26? I would hope not. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It does seem like a little bit of a high bar, but I guess it just really depends on the setup and how often that setup presents to you. Is this like a daily something, or is this like one of those weekly things?
yeah,
Because maybe the less frequently it occurs, and if you're planning for it, then I think that might be probable that you could take a really high degree of success rate on something that's like, okay, this is the one that I've been waiting for. But of course, we have to wait for that, and waiting is sometimes the hardest part.
yeah. And it can be tough too, because like, if you're reviewing your status like that, oh, I'm at 75%. So you'd be thinking like, hey, I got to win these trades. Hopefully that doesn't psych you out to like breaking rules where you move stops, you stay in a trade too long, et cetera, right? It can
Right.
be,
Hmm.
it can turn into a thing where are you trading the market or are you trading your stats? So, but we would personally love to hear more about this, right? Like we don't necessarily need to hear about your system, but like keep us updated in future episodes. Like I hope you do it. Shoot, it'd be
Yeah.
great. It'd be great if you won 90% of your trades, right? And that would be incredible. But you know, um, I just hope that obviously the 20% of trades that you lose don't overpower that 80%, but or don't even chip away at it too much, right? You want to hopefully have a very profitable year in 26, and we hope you turn on that infinite money glitch with this free account, pass it, and take some payouts. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, would love to hear from this person in the comments if they do manage to find some success. But I want to give a huge shout out to one of our friends,
Oh yeah, let's do it.
and we did a special episode back in the day, the Big Dip bag holder,
Mm-hmm.
and he's holding bags all right, but they're bags of cash because he has made some really great strides and progress in his trading, and currently on two back-to-back payouts.
Dude, that's pretty sick.
That's pretty awesome.
Two
Hmm.
back to back
Yeah, so I'm like super pumped.
off the Lucids.
Off the Lucids, yeah.
Damn, he getting paid off that Lucid, bro. That's sick.
Hmm.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him, man, because
I'm too.
as we talked about in the previous episode, he felt like he was on the verge of quitting, and all these months later, he's finally kind of hunkered down and figured out an actual strategy. He showed me his rule plan and his game plan, that kind of stuff,
Sweet.
and he has an if this then that, and so far it's working.
Good for you, man. Hey, I'm proud of
Yeah.
you. I'm proud of you, Mister Big Dip Bag Holder. No more. We need a new name
Yep.
for you, bro.
Yeah. We'll have to ask Grok what they deem.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
congrats on his success. Right, we're rolling into the new year. We obviously know what Rail Rich his goal is for
Hmm.
2026. Robbie, what are your goals for 2026?
I need to procrastinate less. And
Okay.
the biggest example I can give of that right now is this video I just published on my channel that I said I was going to do back in January of last year, or maybe I said I was going to do it in like February. I don't know.
All right.
Suffice to say, it's been too long, and it was at that point where like, do I do this or not? And ultimately, I decided to publish it because even though they're really old trades, it said it's something that is I said it was something that I wanted to do, and I just decided to just do it. It finally came together. So
Good.
less procrastination in every part of my life, besides just the video trading. I should review more. I've been slacking on that a little bit, specifically on certain days that feel a little heavier than others, where it's like,
Okay.
okay, you're kind of beating yourself, and then you come back because you get busy, and then I just kind of forget about it, and then it's like, okay, well, I didn't do it yesterday, I'll do it today, but today rolls around, so I just
Right.
overall have to be better, more diligent at looping back, because I mean the reality is the recordings aren't that long, in the grand scheme, and of course I can just skip to when I execute,
Mm-hmm.
and it shouldn't take long. It's just a mental block that I have on that. So that's probably the big one. Um, Outside of that, I really need to just make sure that I am also focusing on an if this then that scenario. But compared to last year, well, this year since we're still in it, but this is going to be our
Right.
last episode of the year.
Right.
Um, I've seen really huge improvements on my execution overall. I still mark it from time to time, but I am doing a lot better with actually setting the limit orders and trying to be more consistent with, following my rules, of course, which is key.
Hmm.
Making sure I have days that are not wiping out a whole week. Blowups are still going to happen, and I did have one last week where I did take a full. Took a brand new account from start to finish, in one day, and
Oh
that's
shit.
not good. But yeah,
Oh shit. Robbie's
so
coming clean, everybody. I did not know this. I did not know.
yeah, coming clean. So I was going to tell you eventually, but I figured I might as well do it and get your reaction
This is a good time for it.
because who hasn't done that, right?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of people, right? Yeah. So another thing is, I also want to make sure that I am reducing the size of the accounts that I have, because one of the reasons that allowed me to take that blow up in one day
Mhm.
was I went a little bit heavy on buying the accounts, and similar to advice that I've given in the past for new traders, like if you have a cash account, why would you put your full balance into an account and have that ability to lose it all?
Right.
So like starting with a small account size, say for example, just $1,000, throwing that out there.
Right.
If you lose $1,000, you have money to replenish, but the act of replenishing the account is a deliberate act. Also, I mean, even though it's not hard to do, it's still something that you deliberately have to say, okay, I'm refunding this account because I'm
Right.
willing to lose this.
Right.
Versus if the money's just all there, it's easier because it's already been deposited the one time. And so, like, how that compares to the prop trading for me is that, well, if I have all these accounts, then it is a lot easier to just click the tab and switch to the next account and potentially continue that over trading or tilt streak.
Right.
Versus if I just, only work with the few accounts that I want to be putting on with that initial risk. And then only after, pass or fail do I, consider that buy button. That's a
Yeah.
pretty big one for me.
Awesome. That's a good rule.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good rule.
How about you?
Well, I wasn't originally going to say this, but I think that like the fact that you said it, not allowing myself to have an account, that goes from full to zero in a day would be a good thing to do. Like I've done that. That has happened to me
Hmm.
plenty of times in
Yeah.
2025. Um, not a thing lately, which is good,
Hmm.
right? So I've kind of
Yeah.
already got the ball rolling on that one. Um, I thought about my goals like for the year, and I wanted to stay away from having anything be monetary. So like I didn't want to say I want to make X dollars more or less than
Right.
2025. Um,
Hmm.
ideally, if I could match 2025's P&L in a more consistent fashion without the lull, like really the big dip that
Yeah.
I had, because I
Hmm.
struggled. I think May was like close to like break even, like slightly green. June, I think, was like slightly red. July was bad. August was better, but red. Like I think red like 2K.
Hmm.
And then September was like right on the line, dude. It was like it was the same thing, right? And
Hmm.
then October, November, December was like, great, right? We talked about doing an episode about that and the change that kind of made in that fourth quarter. But I'd like to see that it's hopefully more consistent. And I think that in reviewing it, the majority of that consistency will just be driven by my approach and my risk management. So I feel like if I was to change nothing based off of what I'm doing in the fourth quarter, I'll accomplish that goal. Um,
Yeah. I know you can, because you put out that post on X about I've got a lot of new followers recently. Hit me up and I'll share how I turn myself around. And your plan is just really good, and you've stuck to that. That's literally what you did
yeah,
to turn your trading around, and you've got 3 really fantastic months to prove that it works.
yeah, yeah. So we definitely should cover that. I feel like that's a good thing to cover. We can just cover that plan in detail, maybe like in its own episode
Mhm.
sometime. So
Yeah.
So yeah, like not really monetary, focusing on trading the plan, um, and staying focused and just staying consistent. Continuing to monitor, via journaling, self-reflection, recording. Like I still always record my trading, reviewing that footage, and just trying to make sure that, because like I can't control my emotions, I can't control feeling tilt, but I can control how I respond to that feeling. I can
Yeah.
control how I respond to those feelings early on, right? Like I know when it's like okay, I can feel that like the tension is rising sometimes, so to speak. So
Yeah.
that's a big thing, responding to that. And then I would like to just try to be as helpful to other people in the trading community as possible. And if that leads
Hmm.
to other people getting payouts or improving their trading, then I think like that alone for me, like if that like if that's how 2026 pans out, and it's like, yeah, I really did well here, I will consider 2026 a success, because trading is really hard,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna click the buttons for anybody. I'm not gonna tell them when to buy or when to sell. Like, it's not like that. It's not any like financial advice, but if I can help people to get better at refining their system, ask them difficult
Hmm.
questions about their system, ask them difficult questions about the psychology, about their approach, and help them, use the tools available to them for them to become better, especially where a lot of trading is about yourself. Um,
Oh yeah.
and if I'm able to do that and help people make more money, then 2026 is a win. So those are my goals.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd like to touch back on what you said about controlling like the tilt
Hmm.
because we I think I guess I can really only speak for myself, but I would imagine for a lot of people, we really do know when we're tilting. And it really starts with that first like conscious thought where it's like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but we don't cut the trade. Or
Right.
whatever it is, we don't stop ourselves. And the bottom line is that it takes discipline no matter what. Like you can't just like I know it might seem cliche that it's like it takes discipline to stop, but like it takes discipline to have discipline too. You know what I mean? In some way.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
nobody's gonna stop you but yourself. So like for instance, are you gonna let that trade? Are you gonna let that count go to zero? Like, am I gonna do that? I mean,
Right.
that's all on me. I have to say no at some point. Well, I guess the brokerage will say no for me once it gets to zero. But there will be that time when you do still have a chance to make things right, even if it still hurts.
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
yeah. So I appreciate you saying that, and that's something that I need to work on too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you 100%. It's still a thing. I don't think, like, I think that just because I can say I've had some recent success, I cannot say I'm past that. Like, I know
Mm.
that at any point in time, that's like the demon ready to pop up, So I have to
Sure.
be very mindful of that. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's challenging for sure. And I think, to be a little bit more personal, for me, a lot of times where that first starts to creep up is me entering into a trade that I don't think I can lose. Like, as weird as
Mm.
that is, right? Like, sitting here,
Yeah.
I know that it is possible that every trade will lose. Like, there will be a loser. Like,
Oh yeah.
I cannot have a 100% win rate for an extended period of time, right? Like,
Hmm.
two green in a row, sure. Three green in a row, sure. But it's almost kind of like I should be aware of this. Like, dude, I've won four trades in a row. The loser is coming, Joe. The loser's coming, and
Oh yeah, the
and
dice of probability. We keep rolling that, and that's
yes,
eventually, we're gonna
yes,
get that streak in the opposite direction for sure.
yes, exactly. And so I should just be more like, hey, this could probably be the one. Where's your stop? What are you prepared to lose
Yeah.
here, right? And just be
Hmm.
like, okay, like putting a blackjack bet down. Like, okay, $100 on this hand, I could lose. And I think that like adopting that mindset really stifles the tilt. Like at the start, right? Like
Uh-huh.
in essence, if I was expecting that this is probably going to lose, like what could I be so tilted about, you know? And
Yeah.
I know that I've had tremendous improvement about it. Like, really quick story, because I think it was it might have been like Christmas Eve. We were trading live in the group. It was either Christmas Eve
Oh
or the
yeah.
or the day prior, and we were trading live,
Uh-huh.
and I got wicked out. Like, actually got wicked out 4 different times from winning trades,
Ah, dang.
and
Yeah.
one time it was like I wicked out of the runner, and like another time it was just like wicked stop, green trade, break
Hmm.
even, wicked, and then it flushes more to my second target. And it's just little stuff like that. And I was just like, well, it happens, and
Yeah.
it was just a really low volume day, right? And I was just like cool with it. And then we actually had a good discussion live about how easy it was to just take that in stride and how much that's growth. And sometimes, you know, your goal might like be something like Rich's where it's 80% green trades, and my goal is just taking that crap in stride.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
What about goals for the channel
Hmm. Wow. I'd like
or
to.
giveaways? That's for sure.
Yeah, more giveaways. I'd like to see you be rich and famous, bro. Like, you got the face for a billboard and the hair for it too.
What? No way, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This could go on a billboard, maybe, but
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. It'd be crazy to hit like 5,000 subs. Like, that would be enormous growth. Like,
Mhm.
but I think for sure we could hit 1,500.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Do you
Yeah.
hear my dog dying over here?
Mm-mm. Oh,
Okay, that's nice.
oh, I just heard a little like a little
Uh,
barf. Little.
so more giveaways for sure. More
Mm-hmm.
interviews. I hope
Mm-hmm. More
the Maple
interviews.
Stacks interview was really great.
Yep.
Really appreciate that. We could do better with how we maybe edited that and how I think I might have stumbled a question or so, but like I'd like to maybe have some better editing on that, do some more hook and maybe not maybe to me it felt in sometimes like kind of mechanical, but I mean I guess that's just the nature of interviews. Sometimes you want to move from point A to point B, but I had a really fun time doing it and I know we got the views that showed people really appreciated that too. So,
Yeah. That was a good one for
yeah,
sure.
more
I think
more
you'll do fine.
interviews, more giveaways,
Yeah.
more discipline.
More discipline, you know.
Mhm.
I think that covers it, bro. That's
Yeah,
2025. It's a
I'd say
wrap.
so. Yeah.
All right.
Well, we appreciate you guys for watching and stay tuned for the next one. We'll see you next year.
Hell yeah, guys. See you in 2026.